Securely attached people can find themselves in relationships with avoidance too. It's not just anxious attachers. So much of the content on social media is oriented around anxious and avoidant, and yes, it needs to be talked about. But it isn't just anxious attachers that find themselves in relationships with somebody who's severely avoidant, especially dismissive avoidant. Securely attached people can find themselves in a relationship with an avoidant too. Even somebody who is severely dismissive avoidant. One of the reasons for this is that a person that is dismissive avoidant can often present themselves to be relatively secure early on in dating. Not all of them show their insecurities right away. Some do, but many don't. Many of them will present themselves to be emotionally intelligent, emotionally available, willing to be vulnerable, willing to have deep, intimate conversations. They'll express the things that the secure person wants to hear, and it seems great. But as the relationship progresses, this person starts to get triggered, especially when the honeymoon phase begins to end. Emotional intimacy builds, vulnerability, it's too much, there's commitment, possible disagreements and conflict, healthy expectations. These are all very triggering to somebody who's severely dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant that leans heavily dismissive. The realness of the relationship is the trigger, and this person will start to emotionally withdraw from the relationship, pulling away, creating emotional distance. And this can cause a securely attached person to start to feel a ton of anxiety, even when they've never experienced it in past relationships. It is a normal human reaction to feel anxiety when a person that you love and care about is pushing you away. When your emotional needs are being met and then they're being taken away, the natural human reaction is anxiety. And many people that are not naturally anxious attachers can find themselves becoming anxiously attached within the relationship. They didn't gravitate towards emotionally unavailable people in their past. They weren't always anxious in relationships. But in the relationship with the severe avoidant, they are an anxious mess. And this is a very common thing, actually. So what does the securely attached person do? How does this go? Well, there's a few different ways it can go. One route is that the securely attached person, due to not wanting to lose the person that they are in love with, becomes more and more and more anxious, walking on more and more eggshells. And then eventually that relationship can end in a blindsiding discard of the formerly securely attached person. It can also go where the discard happens before the avoidant even really pulled away, comes out of nowhere. The securely attached person is blindsided, heartbroken, and now an anxious mess. The third route is that the securely attached person stays securely attached, despite the anxiety that they're feeling. The way they stay securely attached is by holding boundaries with the avoidant when the avoidant starts to pull away and do unhealthy, emotionally unavailable behavior. Boundaries are your limits of what you want, what you don't want, what you need, what you don't need, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate, and what your expectations of your partner are. Boundaries are not a recreational activity. Nobody loves to hold them, but it's important to do. And a person who stays grounded and securely attached will do so. So for example, when the avoidant is pulling away, disappearing, not replying much, the securely attached person will hold a boundary in this kind of way. Hey, I've noticed that there's been some distance between us and really hasn't been much communication. Are you still interested in maintaining this connection, maintaining this relationship? And in most cases, the avoidant will say, oh yes, absolutely, I've just been busy, make some sort of excuse. And this is where the secure person holds a boundary. Well, consistent communication is something that's really important to me in a relationship. And when I'm not communicated with, I feel like I'm not being considered, and that doesn't work for me. So if you're not able to communicate in a consistent way, or even communicate that you need space, this relationship wouldn't work for me. Right there, held the boundary. And one of two things is going to happen. Either the avoidant is going to work to respect the boundary and communicate in a healthy way because they know that this person's not going to allow or tolerate this kind of distancing behavior, or the relationship ends. which, yes, that can be heartbreaking and disappointing. But ultimately, if the relationship ends because you held a boundary and they're not interested in meeting that boundary, what they're telling you is they were never going to show up for you. They were never concerned about your needs. They weren't empathizing with you because they really weren't caring about meeting your needs, and they were never going to meet your expectations. And if that's the case, as hard as it is, let them go. Because now you are no longer tied up with a partner that doesn't want to show up for you. And you are free to meet a person that will put in the effort and the energy into you the way that you put into them. And the securely attached person knows this. The securely attached person that stays securely attached knows this. But it is very easy for a person that's relatively secure to become extremely anxious in a relationship with an avoidant, because it's very blindsiding, it's confusing, and if you're not aware of what you're dealing with, or if you're not really well versed in boundaries, it can be quite easy to go from secure to very anxiously attached, at least within the confines of a relationship with a severe dismissive avoidant.